Well, we're back with the 81 250R. That's going to be some kind of build, and this engine was hopefully going to be the one I was going to put in my racing one and race this weekend, because it's felt as though it had a lot more compression than mine. Mine has 125 right now. When I tested this one today, the gauge only read 120, maybe 125, something around the same. So I thought the gauge has to be off, because this thing you can't push over by hand. Well, then I took the plug out, and it was about the same. Took the reeds out, and it was about the same. And that's where I started noticing bad news bears. Right in here. So that's all no bueno there. And oh, let's just look at the head, because it's already here. And that's that nice little head that it had with it. I think it actually looks a lot worse on camera. The whole center circle part, however, does have some surface rest on it, is pretty much smooth. Just that outer circle. But I mean, the guy did tell me when I got it, it had been sitting for a long time. I never thought the real thought in my head of why did they park it. I think I know. Because, well, first off, that's all eaten up in there. And let's get to the cylinder. Starting out, if you look at the cylinder over here, it's not that bad. Which actually, when I first saw this, I'm like, that's a lot better than I thought. Except the piston is, let's fix my light for a second there. Piston is kind of junk, we could say. Then you get to this spot where you can see it right there almost. It's about right there. Whatever something was stuck in that piston, you can definitely feel that with your finger. You don't even need a fingernail to feel it. So that tells me that the whole cylinder needs bored. And now I know why it felt like it's so much compression. I can barely move that thing by hand. That's putting a lot of weight into it. She barely moves. So, seems like I got on this one. And, the whole darn thing needs gone through. Which kind of shoots my plans in the foot to, rebuilding that top end and then having this engine in that one, and then that one would be the spare, or if this one was bad enough, rebuild this one immediately after. However, it does not get me away from the original plan that I've yet to share. Now what am I gonna do with this engine? Probably fix it. For some reason though, this was it was about a quarter of the way full, I'd say, when I started. Now it's about 3/4 of the way full. That was full of oil. Like, I took the cap off and you could see oil sitting about here. I'm not sure if the guy before me knew the lower end had issues and he went ahead and decided, hey, I'll fill this up and let it sit. Maybe it'll break things loose, and it never did for him. But, yeah, I'm not sure at all, actually. On the bright side, I still have a running 250R engine. However, it's running at 125 PSI for compression, and it doesn't have the power that it should. The bright side behind that is after my race in Quincy on the 16th, I believe, and I can't promise this will be out before the 16th of, it's June right now, yeah. Can't promise it'll be out before then. It might be, it might not be, I don't know. But on the bright side though, I guess after I get that one done, after that race is over, there's a race in July. Good and bad thing about that is I have a wedding. So I probably won't go, which would mean that I would have over a month to get that cylinder rebuilt. I actually just replaced the head gasket in that. So I know what that cylinder looks like. I know what the head looks like. The head is much better than this. The cylinder has slight scoring, but nothing as bad as this. We're thinking that's because I put a K&N air filter on the back of it instead of a uni, where you put oil in it. So I'm not done with this project at all. So don't be thinking that. It's still gonna get where I hope it goes. But as I stated before, I don't want to say what that is because life happens. So who knows? Golly, this dude even like spray painted half the boot. What is on the back of this? Weird sticky. All right, that's cool. I actually haven't even pushed on these forks to see if they're any good or not. I did notice that when I took off the front tire, this wasn't even bolted down. It was just chilling. I need to get bolts for that. If anybody's wondering, a 225 YTM, Yamaha 225, any year. Because the 200X currently has 86 Yamaha 225 DRS. Red frame. Currently has those hubs and tires and stuff on it. However, I think I might... Yeah, those hubs are actually off of an 85 yellow 225 DR that I threw on there because I bought those hubs for it originally. And yeah, I forget it didn't come with... Actually, I don't remember. Maybe it did come with hubs. Anyways, doesn't really matter. Any year Yamaha YTM 225 will fit on these. These or 200Xs, first and second gen Rs. As for third gen, I have no idea. I know that an 88 TRX 250R hub is different because there's one right there that I tried to put on the 250R once, and it's now off the 200Xs. But yeah, that's what I'd say. Enough of me rambling. So basically this engine's kind of screwed, sadly. I'm still probably gonna end up getting it rebuilt because getting that done is gonna be cheaper than trying to find another one. Plus, I would really like a spare engine for racing because if I race enough, that one's gonna get tired, whether it's right now like it is the middle of the year or it is... Or I screw up and mix stuff wrong, and I blow the thing up or run it at IRPMs. But either way, this engine's not going to be junked or parted out. It's still going to be planned on using on that because it's my, from what I've read, first gen and second gen engines are, you can swap them. It's not a big deal there. But sadly, that means that I'm going to have the engine that will potentially get me in last in that one, because so far that one has gotten me... Shit. You know, let's just do a video on that thing later. I don't feel like doing it right now or talking about it. Maybe we can do one on that one. We'll do both. We'll do that one too. But yeah, so that's just, let's wrap this thing up because it's been like almost 9 minutes and that's enough of me talking about gibberish. So my original plans of getting this thing running, they're not going to happen. I was really hoping that between yesterday and today that I could essentially put the intake boot off of that one onto this one, just keep that old carb on this one, and run it. The bright side is I know the stator, the coil, and flywheel are all good because it did have decent enough spark to make something happen. And I'm surprised it didn't fire off with 120 compression, with PSI compression, because that seems like it should be enough. However, maybe that bottom end just was so, it's just so tight and sluggish that it's bad. Plus all that oil was in there, which would drag it down a little bit, I believe. Don't quote me on that one. And tomorrow I'm going to get this bearing off of there, because that, I just popped it out with everything else. Ooh, I forgot about the expansion chamber. And once I get that off, I'll be able to have this thing at least roll, which will be nice. This guy also got me pretty good here. I forgot about that. The expansion chamber is also junk. It's got holes, but actually isn't rusty. I can't push my thumb through it really or anything. So that could probably be repaired, but I probably won't because I think I'm buying a DG expansion chamber and silencer, but we'll get to that three-wheeler later. So that's it for this thing for now then, because I need to end this because it's been over 10 minutes. So yeah, that is the 81 250R.